Okay, welcome and thank you for your patience. Sorry it took a little while to work out the technical difficulties. Today we're going to be talking about spring gardening, and I'll be focusing on plant protection, and that's plant protection from both pests and diseases, and also about vegetables to plant in April. And I'm glad to see you all here. I love doing this kind of thing. I became a master gardener last year and have been teaching classes ever since and really enjoy it. One of the things I discovered in this class is that we have a lot of experienced gardeners that usually attend. And so if you have certain tips or tricks that you use in your garden and with any of these topics that are related, please feel free to raise your hand and comment. I always learn something new when I teach these classes, and it's one of the things that I enjoy about doing this. And I try to update the PowerPoint presentation, so if you were to take this class next year, you might see one of your ideas surface in the class next time I teach it. So welcome. If you would, I'd like to begin by just going around the room and just give your first name and let me know if you're gardening this year, if you've got a vegetable garden, or if you're still in the planting stages.
Eric, vegetable gardens.
Good.
Cindy, I have a vegetable garden. Michelle.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
4x2 space that I'm just starting.
Great.
Studying vegetable
Great.
garden. I'm growing a vegetable garden and I'm expanding to another spot in my yard as well as who knows where.
And please stop me when we get to the slugs, okay? And you can explain your slug trick.
Oh, okay. And I'm a member of Growing Forward Gardens.
Yes, so she's been in classes before.
Lorena, I'm doing container vegetable.
Okay.
I'm Judy, and I think I'd like to do some container things, and I bought my plants out here last weekend, and I had to cover them up with some tin or something.
Yeah.
And I made sure I found out what to do right.
Okay. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Lane, and we have snow peas coming.
Great.
Coming
Yeah.
I'm Don.
Okay.
We work.
Oh, that's good.
Roxley planting.
Okay.
Doris vegetable garden. Yeah. A box raised. We're going to try that this year.
Oh, good.
I'm Ann, and I have very bad luck with vegetables.
I'm Vicki and I'm doing a vegetable garden.
Great.
I'm Ellen, and I'm doing vegetable gardening at home in the community garden. And if anyone's having bad luck with vegetables, come sign up for a bed there because you'll find magic. And it's Growing Forward Gardens.
I'm Robert. We do some veggies every year, and we have a lot of flowers.
I'm Stuart. I had an herb garden and then expanded to veggies.
I'm Lisa.
Okay.
Jim, just starting a garden.
I think I remember you from one of our previous classes. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Karen, and I'm doing vegetable gardening in a raised garden box, and I have a greenhouse. And
Ooh. Greenhouse.
I'm from the high desert, so the Northwest is just so different that I just have a lot to learn.
I'm Jim, and I'm planting a vegetable garden.
Welcome all, and I hope you enjoyed the class. And please stop if you have questions. I'm perfectly okay if you interrupt me at any point, although one of you may need to remind me where I am. I'm getting at that age, you know. Anyway, I'm getting to that age. Okay. There we go. So, oh gosh, I went too far.
Are there any extra handouts?
Yes. Oh, here they are. This is a good sign. I think the classes are getting a little bit bigger every time I teach them, so that's a good sign. Can you all hear me okay? And I tried it with a microphone, and I was getting so much feedback on the microphone that I will try to speak loudly enough that you can hear me without it. It was making lots of noises, so welcome. We're going to be talking first of all about protecting our plants against pests and diseases and other problems. And probably
like a chair?
aware that the best defense is a good offense. So I'll be talking about emphasizing a lot of proactive measures to prevent these problems from occurring in the first place. I'll talk a little bit about a basic approach. I want to let you know that I am an organic gardener, and so I will be emphasizing organic methods. And then we'll talk about common cultural problems. Most of the problems that occur in the vegetable garden, and I can testify to this from personal experience, are a result of something that we're doing or not doing. And I always, as master gardeners, they teach us to look at those things first before we actually start looking for maybe a bug or a disease as being the cause of what we're seeing. And then I'll talk a little bit about some common vegetable pests. I won't be able to talk about all of them in the limited time we have, but I do provide resources at the end of the handout so that to provide you with more information. Some common vegetable diseases that we find in this area, as well as information about what to plant in April. I time these classes at the beginning of every month and talk about the things to plant that month in the garden, the kind of things that would be important to consider that time of year. So the first thing is to create the ideal conditions for plants in the first place. And the first thing you need to look at is location with the right light conditions. Most vegetables require as much light as you can give them. A minimum of 6 to 8 hours is best. There are some vegetables that will grow in part shade, but they really prefer sun, full sun. Soil with the necessary nutrients and texture. And in previous classes, when I talked about planting the vegetable garden, I went into more depth about that. And a new class has been added to the schedule here that I'll be teaching in 2 weeks, and I've included the details about that class. I will be talking about building soil using compost and mulch. So there were a lot of questions in the previous classes about soil and compost and those topics, so per your request, we're creating a new class just to talk about soil. And proper amount of water is important. And last summer, if any of you had gardens last year, you know it was really a critical issue. The first time I had to water just about every day. If planting out transplants, we need to harden them off first. And in a situation like this, if you're growing them yourself, in a situation like this where the plants have already been outside, chances are that hardening process is off. I'm so glad to see you back.
Oh, there you are. I was looking for you. This is my sister.
A plant that gets what it needs is usually less susceptible to problems. So that's kind of obvious at this point.
Can you explain the hardening off? That's just leaving outside for certain days?
I go through quite an extensive process. So I've got some seeds I started inside, and if it's a nice day, I put them outside when the wind is kind of minimal and it's not raining and it's kind of nice. And I try to put them out the first day for a couple hours and in the shade. And then gradually the amount of time that I leave them out increases until I'm finally leaving them out all night. And I usually say, do as I say, not as I do. Unfortunately, I forgot and left some tomatoes outside overnight, and it frosted. And I lost maybe a third of my tomatoes. I'm amazed that any of them survived. So I don't know if they'll produce. But that's the hardening off process. In an ideal situation, you get them used to it gradually, and you don't expose them to too much cold or too much wind. So, like I say, do as I say, not as I do. Study your garden's microclimate, soil, drainage patterns, etc. One of the important things to do is a soil test if you're not really sure about what's in your soil. And usually we, as master gardeners, we're sending people to the University of Massachusetts to get their soil tested, and you can do that all via mail and online. Determine the key problems, both living and non-living factors. It's really key that you do, and it'll come up in the future slides, to try to determine whether it's doing good diagnostic work up first, whether it's a cultural problem, a disease, or a pest, and I'll be giving you some clues about how you can tell the difference.